Hello, good morning, and welcome. And welcome to yet another episode of my knowledge series. This is lecture number 4. And in this lecture, let me simplify anti-defection law. But before I start, please hit the like button, subscribe my channel if you haven't yet, comment. One of the stream is over and share the link with your friends and fellow aspirants. Today, before I start my discussion on anti-defection law, let me take you back in time. The year was 1967 and the state was Haryana. The man of an hour was Gayala. Who was Gayala? Gayalal was actually an elected MLA. And what Gayalal did, Gayalal in those times achieved something that most politicians would find very exhausting. In the Haryana Legislative Assembly in 1960s and 1970s, horse trading and crossing the float was the order of the day. And what Gayalal did, within a span of single day, barely 24 hours, Gayalal changed his political party not once, not twice, but 3 times. And what Gayalal did, he was actually having a membership of Congress. He jumped from Congress and joined United Front, back to Congress, and then again joined United Front. So, the state was Haryana, the date was 1967, and the man of an hour was Gayalal. Who was Gayalal? An elected representative, an elected MLA, and what Gayalal did? Gayalal achieved something that astonished most politicians, that most politicians would find very exhausting. And this Gayalal changed his political party not once, not twice, but 3 times. He jumped from Congress to United Front, returned back to Congress, and then again joined United Front. And this Gayalal went temporarily, joined Congress for a very temporary period. The then leader of the Congress presented him to the media with a massive grin and declared that Gayaram is now Ayaram. Gayaram is now Ayaram. Means one who has left has now came back. But the Congress leader in those times didn't know that this Gayalal is again going to join which party? That is United Front. So Gayaram is now Ayaram. And this single joke birthed the most famous idiom in Indian political history. And that idiom is Ayaram Gayaram. Ayaram Gayaram. Sir, what do you mean by Ayaram Gayaram? Means the political parties used to cross floats for the sake of money, for the lure of power, for ministerial berths, for other benefits. So what this Gayalal did, he was a member of the Congress and he joined what? United Front. And within a span of single day, what he did, he changed his political party for 3 to 4 times. Just for what? For the lure of money, for cash, for power, for ministerial berths, for good portfolios. And this Ayaram and Gayaram, this single joke, it became the defining phrase of Indian political history in 1960s and 1970s. You might have gone through that Ayaram Gayaram. What's meant by this Ayaram Gayaram? So गयालाल एक व्यक्ति थे हरियाणा से और इस बंदे ने एक ही दिन में विद 24 आवर्स इसने 3 पार्टीज चेंज की। पहले कांग्रेस से था, कांग्रेस से होकर इसने यूनाइटेड फ्रंट ज्वाइन किया, फिर अगेन कांग्रेस ज्वाइन की, फिर अगेन यूनाइटेड फ्रंट ज्वाइन की. बिकॉज इन दोज टाइम्स horse trading was common affair. Parties were crossing floors just for the sake, for the lure of money, for ministerial berths, and governments were falling like house of cards. And it was those times when the legislatures were, means they were looking less like temples of democracy and more like what? Stock market. So in those times, this defections that the parties were carried on just to get their own interests filled. So this has to stop. Something has to be done by the parliament. Parliament needed a step in order to stop these defections, because it created problem in Indian political history. So, what in 1985 did Rajiv Gandhi government, and Rajiv Gandhi government did, it pushed through 52nd Amendment Act 1985. Why? Actually, during Rajiv Gandhi government, 52nd Amendment Act 1985 was carried on. And through this Amendment Act, 10th schedule was added. So what is this 10th schedule? This 10th schedule actually deals with anti-defection law. इन्फेक्शन हो गया तो एंटीबायोटिक की जरूरत तो पड़ेगी. एंड डिफेक्शन, when you carry on defection, when you jump other political party, the moment you win, let me tell you one thing. Even I want you to write this down. The mandate is not transferable. If a voter elects you on the basis of particular ideology, particular manifesto, and particular ticket given by party A, and the moment you win, if you would join party B, you are playing with the trusts of the people. You are doing fraud with those innocent voters who cost their votes in favor of you, just because you belong to party A, just belong to, you have this kind of manifesto and this kind of ideology. Maybe the voter elects you because they don't want to elect the very other person. Maybe the voter votes you just because they don't cost their vote to other party. Then how can you commit this political fraud? This is political corruption. You are playing, you are betraying the people. You are betraying the mandate given by the people. You cannot play with the emotions. If you are from party A, you contest elections. And people go and cost their vote in favor of you, keeping in view the ideology, manifesto, and ticket of your political party. And you join other political parties the moment you win. This is a fraud. And you are bettering the voters, you are bettering the emotions, you are playing with the emotions of those who cost their vote in favor of you just because you belong to party A. But no sooner you win the elections than you started joining party B for the lure of money, for ministerial berths, for cash. Because it is human nature is insatiable. He won't be satisfied by anything. अगर आदम की औलाद को दौलत की एक वादी दी जाए वो दूसरी तलब करेगा ना. The same principle applies to human beings, elected members, legislators. If people elect you based on trust, based on ideology, manifesto, how can you join other party the moment you win? So, to stop these defections, to stop this disease, what Rajiv Gandhi government in 1985 did, it brought a law. It pushed for 52nd Amendment Act in 1985. And this Amendment Act added 10th schedule in the Indian Constitution. And this 10th schedule deals with what? anti-defection law. Now, if you would do defections, if you would join other political party the moment you win, it means you are going and you shall be disqualified. So, to combat the evil and political defections motivated by lure of office, material benefits, this is the purpose of the 10th schedule. So, remember this 52nd Amendment Act 1985, most important law in the Indian Constitution. And later on, some changes had been brought in the very law by 91st Amendment Act 2003. So the philosophy behind this law is incredibly what? It is incredibly logical and good. Why? If you want to stop defection, then there is law. If there is a disease, if you have an infection, so there is need of antibiotic. And now, how this law works, how this anti-defection law works, how can we be disqualified, how the legislature shall be disqualified, who shall be disqualified, who are liable for the disqualification. 10th schedule of the Indian Constitution. The law categorizes the legislatures into three categories who can be disqualified. The first category are those who are elected ones. And the second category is those who are independent members. And the third category are nominated ones. So let's come to it one by one. Listen, the first one is the law provides that who can be disqualified? If you belong to a political party, you won the election, you became the member of the house, be it Lok Sabha, be it Rajya Sabha, be it Legislative Assembly. If you would voluntarily give up your membership of your political party, you are liable for disqualification. Recently, what Raghav Chadha and some MPs, what they did, they voluntarily resigned from the membership of Aam Aadmi Party and joined BJP. So what? So they are liable for disqualification. Are you getting me? So exceptions ko chhod ke, if you would join or if you would resign, whether you would join other political party then or not, if you would resign voluntarily, if you voluntarily resign from your political party, so you would lose your seat in the house. But just focus on the phrase voluntarily. According to Supreme Court rulings, voluntarily resignation doesn't mean that you would provide or you would submit formal resignation to the house. No. This is the one condition. If the speaker found, if you find that the very person belongs to party A, but he is giving speech on a stage or he is campaigning for party B, means if a person belongs to party A is seen campaigning for party B, so it means that he is liable for disqualification. One, if a person voluntarily gives up his membership, number one. Number two, if it was inferred from his conduct that the very person is campaigning on a stage set by party B, so at that moment it should be inferred from his conduct that he has voluntarily given up his membership of his political party. Number two, define the whip. Defining the whip of a political party, if any elected member would go or would vote contrary to the directive of his political party. If you vote against the whip of your political party, you are liable for disqualification. Suppose member A was asked by party X that you would have to cast your vote in favor of particular issue. But if this person would defy the directive of his political party, it means what? He is subjective or he is liable for disqualification. Number one, if any elected member would give up his membership voluntarily, he would lose his seat in the House. Number two, if he would not act in line with the directive of his political party, if he would go against the whip of his political party, if he would vote against the directive of a political party, it means he is liable for disqualification. And when it comes to independence, if you are independent, you won the election, and the moment you won the election, if you would join other political party, it means you are liable for disqualification, you shall be disqualified. And after that, it is nominated members. Means if you are nominated members, you are given 6 months. If you are nominated by the president for the Rajya Sabha, if you are nominated by the president for Lok Sabha, you are given 6 months. Within 6 months, you are given an opportunity that you can join any political party. But after 6 months, if you would join other political party, then you are liable for disqualification. So, three kinds of legislators who can be disqualified. One, those who belong to political party, who are elected ones, if they voluntarily give us up their membership, number one. And number two, if they defy the whip of political party, if they will go contrary, or if they would work or vote against what? Against the directive of their political party, they are liable for disqualification. If you are independent, if you would be independent candidate, if you would join other political party, you are liable for disqualification. And if you are nominated member, within 6 months, you are given a time that within which you can join other political party. But after 6 months, you are not allowed to join any or to jump other political party. In that case, you are liable for disqualification. So let's come to another slide. Now there are exceptions. What are those exceptions? One, retail defections are not allowed. Means to stop individual opportunism. One person, one individual, one elected person, two elected persons are not allowed to go for defection. But if a political party decides, that it is going to merge with other political party, provides it must be supported by 2/3 majority, then under the merger exception, they are not liable for the disqualification. Recently, Raghav Chadha, along with other MPs, they joined what? They joined BJP. And they belong to which political party? Aam Aadmi Party. But Raghav Chadha and other MPs sought protection against this merger exception. Means we have carried on this exception, that is merger. So we are not to be disqualified. Keeping in view, that is the exception of merger. So ultimately, it's not you and I who shall decide the petition. It's actually the speaker, in whose hand the authority vests, whether Raghav Chadha and other MPs shall be disqualified or not. And that second exception is presiding officer. The moment an elected representative becomes the speaker, he has to shun his membership of his political, he has to resign as a member of his political party. Why? Just to act as unbiased. Are you getting me? So, member elected as a speaker voluntarily gives up party membership. Once you become speaker, you would have to shun your party membership, and you can join your party once you cease to hold the presiding officer. You would have to act as presiding officer. Then you would have to act what? As unbiased. You would not have to show that you belong to party A or party B. So you have to remain neutral. So to maintain neutrality, you need not to be a member of any political party. So two exceptions. But prior to merger, there was 1/3 rule. So that was called a split. What do you mean by split? For example, in the original law, if 1/3 of members get out of a political party and would join another political party, they won't be disqualified. But then through 91st Amendment Act 2003, the split option got deleted, and this merger exception was upheld. Okay, so let's come to the next point, that is adjudication. Lies as good as the adjudicator uses it. who resolves defection disputes. If any political member, if any elected member, or if any legislator would jump to other political party, tell me who would settle the disputes, who has an authority to disqualify the very person. The authority vests with the presiding officer. In case of Lok Sabha, it is Speaker. In case of Rajya Sabha, it is what? It is chairperson. So, in case of Lok Sabha, Speaker is vested with the authority to settle disputes regarding defections. In case of Rajya Sabha, it's actually chairman who is vested with the authority to settle disputes with the defections. In case of Legislative Assembly, it's actually Speaker who is vested with the authority to decide whether a particular person should be disqualified or not. In the initial law, in the original law, presiding officer was given ultimate authority to decide whether a particular person should be disqualified or not. Meaning the judiciary was kept outside the law. Judiciary was kept outside the law. Then, in the Kyoto Holohan case in 1992, what Supreme Court did? Supreme Court said that presiding officer in case of defections acts as a tribunal. So his decision is subjected to judicial review. For example, if there is a person A, he is a presiding officer, and this person A is vested with the authority to decide whether a particular person should be disqualified or not. Then, when he would decide, after that, you can go to Supreme Court and you can go to High Court. Then Supreme Court and High Court would decide it is constitutionality. They would decide whether the Speaker has done good in line with the Constitution or whether the decision of the Speaker is unconstitutional. Okay? So, long story short, in the original Constitution, the final decision has to be taken by the Speaker because the ultimate authority to decide whether a particular person should be disqualified or not was given to the Speaker. But later on in the Kyoto Holohan case, it was decided that no, you cannot keep the judiciary out of the law. Judiciary is most important, and judicial review is actually comes under the purview of basic structure. So, Supreme Court ruled that presiding officer functions as a tribunal and his decisions are subjected to judicial review. Okay, so let's come to, and we discussed it, split class, it was deleted, and some other things that have been added by 91st Amendment Act 2003. One is total number of ministers cannot exceed 15% of the lower house of strength. And a member, one who is disqualified, he cannot be appointed as minister. And the third thing is defectors are barred from holding any remunerative political posts. We discussed this, and I hope that now you understood all the important facts of anti-defection law. Thank you. Have a good day.